Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Jamie Samuel reporting, and welcome to episode 16 of my Euro 2020 podcast, bringing you the latest updates on Euro 2020. Today, I am once again joined by Savvas and Stewart Kavanagh to wrap up the quarterfinals and bring you a major preview of the semi-finals. Boys, how are we doing today?
Thanks for having us again, mate. We're really excited to be back on the pod. I was really happy about some of the results from last round, but I'm very excited to be back on the episode. Thank you again.
Yeah, thanks for having us, mate. Pumped for it. England's still looking the goods, so I'm happy.
Good. Stuart, what did you make of the quarterfinals, and are you happy that England are through to the semis?
I'm stoked. I was happy that England won. I was happy the fashion that they won. They just annihilated the Ukraine. The quarterfinals as a whole, though, I mean, the games were, I wouldn't say they were the most exciting ones to watch. It's always good to have international football to watch, and it's set up nicely. So yeah.
Sam, the last four is now set. Who are your favourites to win the competition?
I would love to see England versus Italy in the final. I mean, England deserve it, I reckon, and I'd love to see a fairy tale ending for them.
Yeah, 100%. Over the quarterfinals, we have seen Spain defeat Switzerland 3-1 on penalties after a 1-1 draw and no result in extra time. It was Jordi Alba who opened the scoring for Spain in the 7th minute with a long-range effort which the goalkeeper failed to parry away. The game would remain the same until Xherdan Shaqiri struck home an equaliser for Switzerland, sending the game into extra time as mentioned. With no further goals were scored at extra time, and to penalties we went. Mikel Oyarzabal would then strike the winning penalty for Spain as they advanced yet another major tournament semi-final. Stuart, what did you make of the Spanish performance so far, and are you confident they will make it through to the final?
I thought they were very good. I mean, they dominate possession. They get heaps of shots off. It was only a matter of time before they started actually scoring some of those shots. Having said that, I think Switzerland, they played well enough, and, the lottery of the penalty shootouts saw Spain get through. However, I think that's as far as it goes for them. They've got the Italian juggernaut. No, do they? Do they play Italy?
Yes, they do.
Yeah. So they've got the Italian juggernaut that they've got to face, and I just don't see them getting past them.
Fair enough. Sam, do you think the Swiss should be proud of their efforts in this tournament, defeating a team like France and making the last eight? Give me your thoughts.
I reckon they should keep their heads held up high. They shouldn't be disappointed at all. I mean, yeah, it's very sad the way their tournament has ended, but again, I mean, they beat France. They pushed Spain to the limit, keeping it to a 1-1 draw, but unfortunately losing to penalties, it doesn't feel great, and that's the worst way to lose a game, especially a massive quarterfinal or a semi-final. But I mean, I thought Switzerland were a good chance of beating them, like they beat the French. But I just think Switzerland should be very proud of themselves and move forward to the next major tournament, being the 2022 World Cup next year in Qatar.
Absolutely. Italy have taken care of Belgium 2-1 and continued their remarkable unbeaten run of 32 matches. Italy took the lead through Niccolò Barella's strike on the half-hour mark, which gave Italy the lead. Lorenzo Insigne would double Italy's lead after taking on a couple defenders and releasing one from long range. Before the stroke of half-time, Jeremy Doku was brought down in the area by Giovanni Di Lorenzo, and a penalty was awarded. Romelu Lukaku stepped up and gave Belgium a lifeline right before half-time. It wasn't good enough, however, as the Italians were good enough to hold out and make it through to the last four after winning their 13th straight game. Stewart, Italy have been sublime. an unbelievable run of games without a loss. For you, are they the favourites to win this competition?
I think they're equal favourites. I think Italy's form would suggest that they're pretty locked in. But I think England's home ground advantage probably gives them equal favouritism.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd have to agree with you there. Sam, Belgium were ranked world number 1 heading into the tournament. Do you think they have missed an opportunity to win a major tournament given the wonderful side that they have?
Absolutely. I reckon they have a very good chance of beating those giants in Italy, but I think Italy just wanted a bit more than Belgium, and I just think they brought a bit more class and they were just more prepared. Unfortunately, to Italy's centre back, who broke his Achilles tendon, to Spinazzola, speed recovery to you, mate. It's just really unfortunate what has happened to him. Now he's going to miss the next 8 to 10 months of football with an Achilles tendon injury, which is just shocking, and it's a big loss for Italy. So it might cost them a bit in the next round, but again, anything can happen.
Absolutely. It's the Italians into the last 4, and they've got the semi-final coming up. The fairy tale for Denmark at this Euros continued to the last 4, after they took care of the Czech Republic 2-1. It was Thomas Delaney's header in the 4th minute that opened the scoring, before Kasper Dolberg tapped in a low cross to double the advantage. Within 3 minutes of the second half kick-off, Patrick Schick would continue his wonderful scoring run at this year's finals, striking home a low cross to pull it back to 2-1. But it would not be enough, as Denmark have made it through to the last 4 at another Euro competition. Stewart, with what happened to Christian Eriksen in the opening game and Denmark losing their opening 2 games, what an effort this has been for them to reach the last 4.
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredible. I think they're everyone's second favourite side at the moment. No one, except for maybe England fans, would be upset to see them make the final. It's a tremendous run, I don't think it's all to do with the Eriksen factor and the feel-good factor. I think they've uncovered some gem young players as well. So yeah, they could be one to watch in tournaments to come.
Yeah, they absolutely could. Sam, what can the Czechs take out of this year's competition going out at the last day?
I reckon that they've got a really good, bright young forward and who's going to lead them in the future in their attacking Patrick Schick, being their leading goal scorer and having one of the goals of the tournament without a question against Scotland in the qualifying rounds. I mean, it's just Czech Republic should be really proud of themselves, but again, I just thought Denmark were just too strong in the end, and I think they'll gonna have an easy win against the Czechs, but they put up a good fight.
Yeah, they did for sure. England have given themselves a massive chance of making it through to their first ever Euro Cup final after they took care of the Ukraine 4-0 to advance to a semi-final in their own backyard at Wembley. Harry Kane broke the deadlock as early as the 3rd minute. Harry Maguire doubled the lead just after half-time with a bullet header off a free kick. Kane again would score 4 minutes later to all but seal the game with a bullet header from close range, before Jordan Henderson just iced the cake with a 4th goal, heading in a corner in the 62nd minute. England scored all 4 goals in under 65 minutes to wipe the floor with surprise package quarter-finalist in Ukraine. Stewart, England will face the Czech Republic at Wembley. So many times they have reached the semi-finals in the past and disappointed. Is it finally England's time to break the shackles and finally make an historic Euro Cup final?
I'd love to be able to confidently say yes, but as I touched on last time I was on the pod, I've seen them make it far and choke in the past. So I don't want to jinx anything, but I do feel like they are it's probably their best chance. It's their best chance to break that semi-final duck. But yeah, I don't want to jinx anything.
Fair enough. But if they can make it through, is football finally coming home?
Well, I don't know if you remember my prediction. I feel like it might all end in heartbreak. That could just be the pessimist of me coming out, but I feel like Italy England final, and I feel like Italy is going to break English hearts at Wembley.
Fair enough. Sam, what can the Ukraine be proud of in making the final eight for the first time in any major competition?
I mean, they were one of the biggest underdogs in the whole of Euros. I honestly did not see them making it in the round of 16, let alone the final eight. But I think they had a massive fluke win, as I mentioned recently, against Sweden. But unfortunately, being hammered by England, kind of saw it coming, to be honest. I didn't think it would be 4-0. I was expecting at least minimum 2-0 win from England. And for Harry Kane to step up and score 2 goals is massive. And if they can keep up this form against Denmark, I think they're a very good chance of bringing it home.
Fair enough. In other news, we look ahead to the semi-finals. The die has been cast. The competition is down to its final 4. First up, what a prospect we have when Italy take on Spain at Wembley Stadium. As mentioned, Italy are the side who have been unbeaten in the last 32 games straight and are 1 win away from a final. What an omen it would be for the Italians to make the finals after their shock failure to qualify for the Russia 2018 World Cup. But standing in their way will be a very talented Spanish side, full of quality players, but they certainly face their sternest test yet. Spain have disappointed, it's fair to say, at the last 2 major tournaments, it's fair to say. Reaching only the last 16 at the 2016 Euro Finals and at the World Cup in Russia. For the way they have performed up to this point, a final would be a just reward this year. They will be remembering the final of 2012 where they defeated Italy 4-0 for some motivation going into this game. Stewart, who wins this match for you and why?
Well, like I said, Spain, they dominate possession. They get lots of shots on goal, and they're finally scoring some goals now. So I don't think they can be completely discounted. But Italy's just superb at the moment. They're a juggernaut, arguably probably the best international side of world football. I think Spain might struggle with the style that Italy play. They're not going to just allow them to boss possession as they have in their previous games. So, yeah, I'm going for an Italy win all day long.
Italy's only European championship came all the way back in 1968, and they were runners-up to Spain in 2012. Stewart, do you believe they will use that losing final as a motivation for some vengeance? And if they can get through, is it this Italian side got the best chance of winning this competition since 1968?
I'm not sure if they'll use it as motivation because it was quite some time ago, different players and stuff, except the defenders, I think. I think Chiellini and Zanucci were probably part of the squad back then. But I do think they'll beat them, and I do think that they'll win the whole thing, yeah.
Sam, who are the players that could make a difference for both sides?
I mean, not having Spinazzola for Italy is a big loss, but if Jorginho, Immobile, and Insigne can step up and get some goals behind the net for Italy, it'll be crucial. But then again, you got all class in the Spanish side with a front 3 attacking side of Torres, Morata, and Sarabia. But what I am really surprised about is how David De Gea has not played a game at all in the Euros, and he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world, in my personal opinion. But I still think Spain have been very lucky throughout the tournament because there have been a few results they should have won. Like, for example, they had a 0 draw against Poland. They could have won that easily, but I just think they were lucky to even make it to the Final Four. But I just think Italy will just roll them over 2-0.
Fair enough. But Sam, do you believe if Spain can get over the line and cause the upset, they can likely bring home their first major trophy since 2012?
I mean, if they roll over Italy, they're a very good chance of beating whoever wins out of England, Denmark. But I don't personally see that happening, but again, anything is possible in this tournament. We've seen a few upsets already. I mean, we might see another one in Spain winning, but Spain and Italy are very two good, very sides. But if you see Denmark win against England, that will be upset of the tournament, I think, on top of Switzerland beating France.
Fair enough. In the other semi-final, England will take on Denmark at Wembley Stadium. England have no doubt their biggest chance to reach their first major tournament final for the first time since 1966. England will no doubt be remembering a couple of heartbreaking semi-final defeats. Their last one coming at the Euros back in 1996 when they hosted the tournament and went out at the semi-finals to Germany on penalties. Just like when they lost to Germany in the semi-final of the 1990 World Cup on penalties to miss out on the World Cup final in Italy. Most recently, England made it to the semi-finals of the Russia World Cup in 2018, only to have what many considered a shock loss to Croatia 2-1 in extra time. So it's fair to say England supporters and players have had their fair share of disappointment and missed opportunities. They will face a spirited Danish outfit, hoping they can finally end the misery in front of the home crowd at Wembley. Take nothing away from Denmark, however. The resilience this group has shown since Christian Eriksen's horrible turn in the opening game has been phenomenal, scoring 4 goals against Russia just to qualify for the knockout stages after losing their first 2 games, then to annihilate Wales 4-0 in an upset and hold out the Czech Republic 2-1 to make it through to the last 4 of the competition. What a fairy tale it would be for the 1992 champions to make it back to another Euro Cup final. Sam, who wins this game for you and why?
I say that England have a better chance than Denmark, but obviously Denmark want to do it for Christian Eriksen after his cardiac arrest, collapsing on the field in the opening game of the tournament, which is still shocking to even hear about it, in my personal opinion. I mean, I felt so sorry for him that it even happened, but I see England winning this one. I mean, I think they just have a bit more class, and I think guys like Harry Kane and Harry Maguire in the side, and with Jordan Pickford stepping up and barely letting any goals through his net, having so many clean sheets this tournament, I think they're a very good chance of winning this one 1-0 or 2-0.
Yeah, good prediction there. I'd like to think the same. Stewart, it's fair to say England have had their fair share of disappointment at this stage of the tournament. How do they not let this occasion get to them and finally break through to an historic Euro Cup final?
Don't read the papers, for starters. Don't believe the hype. Just do whatever they've been doing. I think on the Southgate, they've shown an ability to be able to do that and just shut out any outside noise that's going on. I think that's all they've got to do, really. If they get caught up in the occasion, get caught up in the moment, that could hurt them. But I have a really hard time seeing 65,000 screaming England fans not cheering them on into a final.
Yeah, fair enough. I'd like to think so as well. Good home crowd advantage behind them. They don't dare let them down. Sam, what do Denmark have to do to stop a team of England's firepower? Taking down Germany 2-0, making minced meat of Ukraine, what can they do to deny them?
Honestly, if their backline can stop, as I mentioned, Harry Kane, Raheem Sterling, Jadon Sancho, and Terry Mount, they can stop all those 4 plus everyone else, and somehow be lucky enough to get past Maguire, Shaw, Kyle Walker, Johnny Stones. If they can get all past them, there's a good chance of them winning, and they need to play very smart and, just go for it, take their chances. But if they take their chances and just miss them at every opportunity they get, I think England are just going to capitalise it and turn it into goals, just like that. And I just think that's the only way Denmark can win, if they can score against England, who barely let any goals past them in this whole tournament.
Fair enough.
I think that's a great point. I would also say, like, Denmark don't want to. They don't want to park the bus and try and get something on the counter attack. You know, they're a fun side to watch. If they could just play with the freedom that they've played with basically all tournament, and have a go at England, then maybe they can beat them in a bit of a shootout. You know, if it's a goal fest. But much like Sam said, England are hard to score against, and yeah, that's going to be their main issue, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, final predictions. Sam, let's start. I mean, Stuart, you've basically answered. Can I just confirm you believe the final will be Italy versus England, and Italy will win it for you?
Absolutely. Yep.
And Sam,
sadly,
yeah, I'd like to see England do it. And Sam, what about you? Who is going to be in the final, and who wins it for you?
I'd love to see. I'm going to actually disagree with a little bit compared to Stewart. I'm going to say I'd love to see England-Spain final and England winning it.
Yeah, I think that would be great too.
You're right, Sam.
Yeah, but aside from what you want, is that what you are actually predicting? Are you predicting
That's what I want to see, but my actual prediction is England-Italy.
And who wins from there?
England,
yeah. I think England have a strong chance at Wembley. I mean, I don't think they have a bigger opportunity than this year to win a major tournament, has been mentioned many times. They're not going to get a chance to host another final in their own backyard, and if they do, they'll think back to 1966 and what a wonderful day it was as they took down the Germans in extra time with the famous commentary for Jeff Hurst's final goal. But you know what? I'd like to see football coming home this year. But that concludes episode 16 of my Euro 2020 podcast. Sam and Stuart, thanks as always for joining me to wrap up the quarterfinals and preview the semi-finals.
Thanks for having us, mate. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, cheers, bud.
No worries. Remember, if you are keen to be a guest on this podcast, you can reach me on my email in the video description or via the LinkedIn profile in the description. I look forward to bringing you more action after the semi-finals to preview the Euro 2020 final in a major preview alongside Sam and Stuart yet again, and we look forward to some amazingly exciting semi-final